hearts on the screens. If you love Lead, if you love Jeunesse, let me get some hearts up there. Super fans are ready, they are engaged. Here we are, ready to kick off General Session 3, the moment many of us have been waiting for. Super excited to introduce our keynote speaker. And you know, when I think about Lead as a concept and this leadership event that we put on every year, it's about giving you as much value, as much content as possible that you can apply to your business, tactics and strategies that you can apply and begin to see immediate traction and results in your business. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's a practice, right? It's about getting better every single day. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, learning new principles, learning new strategies and tactics, putting them into practice, and celebrating those small wins, celebrating that progress, that process of progress that I spoke about last night. And I'm reminded back of Expo, we had a keynote speaker by the name of Tony Robbins. And, you know, when I looked at Tony as a potential keynote, I look at him as, you know, kind of a life coach, so many life-building principles. And then as we start to build up for Lead, you know, Lead is all about leadership. You know, it's about being a professional network marketing pro, having pride in what we stand for, being proud to be a professional network marketer, being proud to represent products like we have in the Youth Enhancement System, being proud to represent a company like Jeunesse. And as we start to think about, you know, how can we deliver as much value as possible this weekend at Lead? How can we kick off 2021 in a major way? You know, it started to come up with ideas. And as I thought about how can we deliver the richest content for you, leadership principles and tactics that you can apply, there was only one name that came to mind. And he's someone that I've watched from afar and seen him develop his system, develop his, you know, his brand, his following, his skills, and someone who I've got so much respect for. He's been involved with network marketing since 1988. It's probably around the same time my mom and Randy got involved with network marketing. I think 2 years later, I attended my first network marketing event in 1990. And since then, he's established himself as an authority, really a strong authority in the network marketing industry. In 2009, same year that we founded Jeunesse, he actually founded Network Marketing Pro, which is his training platform that now has an audience of over 137 countries around the world. Very much a global platform as well. And since inception, Network Marketing Pro has produced extensive library of content and training, and you're going to get it all right here today on this stage for 3 hours. 3 hours of rich content, but he's got incredible tools as well. He and his wife also started the most powerful women in network marketing. I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago, and it's incredible to see, you know, what they're doing to represent women in this industry as well, right? Because, I mean, women very much are a driving force in so many of our Diamonds organizations. Well, here they are. Here are the driving forces, but certainly all over the world, so I've got a lot of respect for that as well, but continues to be, you know, one of the most watched and trusted thought leaders when it comes to network marketing professional. He's now trained a community of over 2 million leaders all around the world in over 100 countries. Are you ready for this moment? Are you ready to welcome to the Jeunesse stage your keynote for Lead 2021? Super fans, let's bring crazy energy. Put those distractions aside. Let's get locked in, focused. Let him speak to your mind. Let him speak to your heart. Let's take Jeunesse to the next level and welcome your keynote, Eric Worre. Nice to have you.
Thanks. Rockstar, give him a round of applause. How you doing, everybody? Good to see you. Hello, Jeunesse family around the world. I'm seeing everybody holding up the books around the world. That's cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to spend some time with you. Leadership is my favorite topic because I think leadership drives everything. But before I get into leadership, I know people are connecting from around the world, different time zones. For some of you, it's in the middle of the night. Some of you, it's very early in the morning. Wherever you're at, my intention is to give you as much value as I possibly can over the course of these next 3 hours. And before I do that, I have to tell you something. I did not know that the company was founded, you know, around the similar times of Network Marketing Pro and everything else. But what a story. I am such a super fan of what this family has done and what you as leaders have done around the world. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't know how many records you've broken, but it's got to be a lot of them. As far as growth, leadership development, product line quality, radical customers, but at the same time creating wealth around the world. The entire world, I mean, there's some organizations just decided, hey, we're going to dominate the United States, or we're going to dominate Malaysia, or we're going to dominate Italy. You guys decided to dominate the world, so congratulations on that. Give yourselves a round of applause, everybody out there. Let me see some hands. Well done, well done. Innovation, growth, and I want to talk about leadership development today because it's the most important thing. You guys are a rocket ship. Extraordinary. But now, what's the next phase? What does that look like? And I will tell you, to go to the next phase, to be able to really step into the next phase, I want you to understand that it's all about developing the best leader in you and then building thickness of leaders within your organization. Some of you, you are the leader for your team. But how many do you have, and how high quality are those people? And I also want to say before we begin, for all the people that are watching around the world, we have superstars here in Florida watching this thing, you know, physically with us. But for everybody out there, everybody here, all these rock stars, we're all in the place that you're in right now at some point. And the only difference was between them and you is they made a decision and they took action. And I want you to know, if you're watching this, you're watching for a reason, and I want you to know that 2021 can be the year for you. It can be the time for you to change everything. Even if you've been around this company for a while and you haven't broken any records and you're not famous and everybody might not know your name, that's fine. But just know this. Any moment it can change. Who's ready to make a change? Raise your hands. Let me see your hands. Who's ready to do something bigger and better? Let's see your hands. All right, I'll believe that with you. And we're going to give you the tools over the course of these 3 hours in order for you to be able to turn that intention into reality. So let me just start by briefly, and I do mean briefly, tell you my story. I did get involved in network marketing in 1988. I was 23 years old at the time, and I was nobody's prize. I was nobody's rock star. I grew up in the middle of the United States in a state called Minnesota, frozen little area of the United States. And I was a kid who grew up in a loving family. We were lower middle class, and I never really took advantage of the gifts that I was given. I barely escaped high school. I was not a good student. If you know what a GPA is, if that translates around the world, I graduated high school with a 1.8 GPA. So I'm nobody's rocket scientist, that's for sure. But I have a very difficult time learning 20 minutes at a time, 30 minutes at a time. 30 minutes of English, 30 minutes of mathematics, 30 minutes of science. If you would have said, we're going to take 90 days of science and then 90 days of mathematics, I'd have been fine. But my brain didn't work that way. I got to surround something and absorb it over time. So anyway, I barely escaped that. I went to college for 1 semester and dropped out, and I started my journey, and I counted it up one time. I had 18 different jobs by the time I was 23 years old. 18. Last job I had was I sold real estate for my father and his partner who were in the real estate business. And in 1987, I made about $45,000, mostly because they gave me a bunch of business from their business. But the problem was I spent $60,000 and I didn't save any money for taxes. And it was January of 1988, and I was like, boy, do I need money. I'd started a little family. I need money like oxygen. If I don't figure it out pretty quick here. For those of you who are young around the world, I know it seems silly to feel like you're running out of time when you're 23. But I felt like I was running out of time. I felt like if I don't figure something out quick, I don't have much to look forward to other than scraping by and apologizing all the time. I was behind on my bills. I was behind on my promises. I was embarrassed. People were calling saying, hey, you said the check was in the mail. And I was frustrated. And good fortune showed up in my life in the form of one of my early mentors. He was a best friend to my father. His name was John Joyce. And John came to my desk one day and he said, hey, Eric, I think I have a way. Wow, you got a picture of John. That's my old friend, John Joyce. And he said, I think I have a way for us to make some extra money. And I'm like, John, I need money like oxygen. I've whatever you're doing, tell me what. He was a millionaire. I'm trying to figure out what I was going to do. And we got in the car and we drove over to his friend Charlie's house. And Charlie was another successful guy. He had this big Arabian horse ranch. And back then, they pulled out a VHS cassette. Anybody remember VHS cassettes? Anybody still have a collection somewhere? Anyway, he pulled out the VHS cassette that had been copied like 100 times. Dennis would remember this. And he put this into the VHS player and pushed play. And I proceeded to watch the most ridiculous, outrageous video ever. Everybody had mansions and limousines and helicopters and yachts, and everybody was like, I was homeless 90 days ago, and I'm making $40,000 a month now, and my life's totally changed. And it was so outrageous. I mean, literally, it could never be played in today's regulatory marketplace, ever, ever, ever. And please don't make the same mistake, right? We live in a different regulatory world. But back then, it was so outrageous that I was just like, you ever see Shark Tank or similar shows around the world where people evaluate businesses? I turned into one of the sharks. I'm broke, mind you. I have no money. They're wealthy. And I'm sitting on the couch like this. The video's done. And I'm like, guys, really? And I said, gentlemen, thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it. But based upon what I've seen, I'm out. And they said, that's okay. You can wait. We're probably going to do it anyway. I'm like, oh, man. Now, these guys are successful. I'm broke. They're going to do it. I work for them, or for a couple of them. The only thing worse than being broke is having had the opportunity, they go succeed and I have to watch. That would be bad. And the truth is, I didn't have the money. Anybody, when you first started your Jeunesse business, you didn't have the money? It was a stretch for you? Anybody? For me, I literally didn't have the money. So I pulled my dad aside and said, Dad, would you do me a favor? I know you've given me loans. I know you've helped me out, but would you give me one more loan to get started? Back then, it was $5,000 to join. And $5,000 every single month in new business just to qualify to get a check. Different time. So he said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I tried to save face, walked over to the guys. Well, I've reconsidered. I guess I'll get started. So I signed up. And one lesson, I'll give you one quick lesson for your notes just to start. I walked out of the house, and as I'm walking to the car, I'm walking about 20 or 30 feet in front of John Joyce, my father, and Charlie. And John Joyce turns to the other two guys and he says, do you see that kid? That kid's going to do better than all of us combined. And I heard him say it. And I was like, wow. Because he believed in me more than I believed in me. And something for your notes. If you're going to take notes, something for your notes. The gift of your belief in someone else is an enormous gift. The gift of believing in yourself is huge. But if you can find a person in your organization that maybe doesn't believe in themselves as much as you believe in them, and you express that belief and let them hear that you express that belief, you know what it did for me? It made me want to not make my mentor, John, a liar. Because there was times I wanted to quit, but I said, well, John said I was going to do better than all these other guys. I can't quit. So I got started. My very first month, made a little bit of money, and immediately quit real estate. Because remember I told you I can't do more than one thing in a short period. I can't have a job and build this fortune because I just look at this check I just got. It's pretty cool. Second month I made even more, big check. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've won the lottery. I'm in the right place at the right time. This is spectacular. This is amazing. Order the private jet. It's coming, right? So, third month. I'm full-time now. And in the first 2 months, how much of the money that I earned from those first 2 months do you think I spent? All of it. I didn't save any money for taxes. I did nothing. I spent it all. Third month, full-time. When I got the check, it was so small. My entire group had fallen apart. Now, mind you, full-time, I need $3,000 to pay the bills, keep the wolves away from the door back at that time. My third month's check, full-time, was $1,098.60. And every part of my bad programming kicked in. I blamed the company. I blamed the economy. I blamed Minnesota. You can't succeed in Minnesota because they're all frozen. Nobody wants to go look at a business in February and March in Minnesota because they're frozen. So I blamed the company. They said the products sell themselves. Liars. It's right here. Here's the products. They haven't sold themselves. I blame the comp plan. Blame the training. They don't give you any training. Big problem. And this is one of the greatest gifts that I ever received. I had no place to go. One of the greatest gifts I ever received is I had no place to go. Some of you are so talented and you're so skilled and you're such great entrepreneurs that if something happens here, no problem. You got all kinds of other doors you can do, other options you could take. Where was I going to go? Age 23. Where am I going to go? Who's going to hire me? I can't go back to real estate. It's going to take me 90 days to get paid. I got to have money now. So I believe, not to be religious on you, but to be spiritual with you, I believe that God closed all those other doors and forced me through the door of network marketing because God knew that network marketing was going to force me to become the person that I needed to become. That was true for me. So after moaning and groaning and complaining and kicking and screaming and throwing a tantrum, I said, okay, I'm going to go back to work. And to be honest with you, Dennis Windsor's sitting right here, and I just remember him. He was godlike. He's a legend still to this day around the world, but he was godlike at that time. I mean, the stuff that he put out, everything came out of his mouth. Such a smart guy. And I remember, man, if I could ever make what Dennis is making, what he was doing in that company back then was just spectacular. And I just decided I was going to make up in work what I lacked in skill, what I lacked in knowledge, what I lacked in ability, what I lacked in talent, understanding. I was just going to work. And I did. I was what you would call a grinder, a network marketing grinder. For 3 years, I ground and I ground and I ground and I ground. And I just didn't know what I was doing, but I just kept showing up. I showed up at events. And I would love to tell you that in those first 3 years, that my income took off and I had wealth. But that's not true. What I had for those 3 years was a job. It wasn't a business yet. It was just a job. I got paid like I was showing up at the coal mine and shoveling coal. And my organization, just understand this, I rebuilt my organization 7 times. 7. I remember the training. Let me show you the training. Is there a Sharpie somewhere? Somebody have a Sharpie? They can throw me. I'll show you the training. Maybe you've seen it. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Here's the training. Ready? Here's you. You ever see this training? You seen it? So, and all you need to do, the easiest thing in the world, is get 5 people. Wow. Okay. And you know what I found out? Getting 5 people is not about skill, it's not about talent, it's not about ability, it's just a decision. Some of you, at some point, most of you got 5, and the reason why you got 5, you just said, I'm getting 5. I'm not going another month without getting 5, I'm getting 5. I'm getting in the car, I'm not going home till I get my 5, right? You could just, from sheer will, go get 5. You talk to enough people, talk to 10,000 people, and there's 5 of them going to say yes, right? So I got my 5. Cool, mission accomplished, step 1. And then they say, and then all you need to do is have those 5 get 5. Oh, easy peasy, piece of cake. So, and you know what I found out? That wasn't that easy. You know what I learned that I had to do? I'd try and encourage my people to get 5. Come on, I'd push them to get 5. I'd train them to get 5. I'd pat them on the back and recognize them to get 5. But you know what it ended up being? I got their 5. I said, get in the car, give me your list, let's talk to them, I'll figure it out. And I just forced them to get 5. Right? And then they said and then it's just 125, 625, 3125, what is it, 15,625? Nope. I thought that this just, once you kick the snowball off the mountain, the avalanche just happens. No. Didn't happen for me. I got these 5 and I got these. I made this happen. And then about there, it stopped. And I heard about these people, the Danian Fires of the world, that had 125, 625, 3125, 15,000. Like, what in the world? Having these huge organizations, how is that even possible? These unicorns, these mythical creatures down here that, people that you'd never met. I remember going to conventions and people saying, oh, I met a diamond in my organization for the very first time. I was like, screw you. I know the middle name of every single person on my team. I know too much about my team. I know every one of their problems, and if they're getting in a fight with their girlfriend, I know everything about my team. and you have people 427 levels deep in your organization that you're meeting for the first time, that's at the top level in your group, I was so discouraged. I would build up to about 30, and then it would fall, I'd get it to like 30, and then it would fall down to like 12. And then I'd build it up to like 30 again and fall down to like 7. And then I'd say, well, maybe I need to be tougher. I need to be a leader. So I bring people on my team, get in the team, sign on the thing, give me 20 push-ups, right? And people are like, no, I'm not here to, do what you tell me to do. And it would fall back down again. And then I'd say, well, maybe it's just not enough love in our culture. Everybody come on in, let's have a big hug. And everybody just, we're just hanging out, talking to each other about our problems. Nobody sold nothing. Everybody just sat there. And then I said, oh, we're young. Let's just be young and have parties. And we'll see if we sell some product. So I built it up to like 30 and it fall down to like 5. I did this 7 times. And then you end up with, if you've done this, wait, raise your hand if this has happened to you at least once. Come on. This happened to you at least once. You built it up, fell apart. Okay, I did it 7 times. And you know what you end up having? You end up with, you build up to 30 and it falls down to like 9. And after you've done this like 3 or 4 times, they start looking like The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? You ever look at your team and you're a little bit depressed? Like, yeah, this is my team. This is all I got. It's just like, and they're walking around saying, I'm still here. I'm still here. The thing that, one of the biggest lies in network marketing is you will succeed if you just don't quit. Not true. Not true. Now, quitting is going to guarantee that you fail, but just hanging around, a bunch of you, I love you, I'm glad you're here, but you're tourists. Thanks for coming. We hope you keep using the product, after you come visit Jeunesse land. But at some point, you got to do something. You can't just be in the right place at the right time. You're already there. You got to be the right person at the right place at the right time. You got to get better at the right place at the right time. So I made a decision about 3.5 years into my business that I was done being a tourist, and I was going to become a professional. I was going to learn this business. I was going to earn my way onto this stage. And I got to tell you, one thing for your notes, write this into your notes. Decision is everything. I made a decision for real, that I was going to the top. I wasn't going to be denied. What's the absolute highest rank in the company? The highest. Crown Diamond. Is there levels of Crown Diamond? Okay, Crown Diamond. And what's the base? Is it distributor? Is it rep? What is it? Distributor. I made the decision that there was only 2 ranks in the company. Distributor, Crown Diamond. 1, 2. That's all there was. And I was going here. And I wasn't going to compare myself to somebody else. I wasn't going to feel bad if somebody got there before I did. But all these other things were not my destination. They were not my intention. They were just mile markers on my journey. I was going to make this happen. Period. End of story. And when I made the decision I was going to do that, I started to equip myself to do that. Everything changed. I stopped trying to get lucky. I stopped trying to look for magical people that are going to change everything. I stopped giving my problems to other people, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to the top. And once this happened, the other thing I did is I agreed at that moment that I was done blaming other people for my problems. I literally said goodbye to my upline. And let me explain what I mean by that. I went to my upline and I said, look, I've been blaming you for my lack of success for too long. So I want to thank you very much for thinking enough of me to bring me in to this opportunity. I'm very grateful. I'll never forget it. We're going to be friends forever, and I'm going to be grateful to you for forever. But from this moment forward, you will never be an excuse for my lack of achievement. You'll never be an excuse for my lack of performance. You'll never be an excuse for my lack of growth. I'm never going to blame you. I'm not going to expect anything of you. We'll be friends, but from this moment, I am CEO of my company. And I'm going to build it to the top. Changed everything. Changed everything. And it'll change it for you. Some of you have been blaming other people. If I only lived in a different country, if I only spoke a different language, if I only had a different upline, look at the upline that they have. If I only had this, if I only had that, then I'd be successful. It's not about that. Until you become CEO of your business, there's only so far you're going to go. So, I will tell you, once you do make the decision, the journey to success is actually pretty fast. People here will tell you, once you made the decision, how long did it take? Once you really made a decision, I'm going, I'm doing it. How long? How long for you?
1 year.
1 year? How long for you, Daniel?
Massive breakthroughs in less than 90 days.
Less than 90 days. Dennis, when you made a real decision, you're going. What was it for you? 90 days. Any of you guys? 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. It was 3 years for me. Yeah. I went from struggling, barely making enough to be able to survive, to $1 million a year, 3 years. And I'm not a distributor, so I can say that. I'm just talking about to wherever the compliance department is. I'm just making sure. So, everything, yeah. Now, let me tell you one thing about compliance before we get into leadership. They have one of the most important jobs in the world, and that job is to protect the goose that's laying the golden eggs for everybody. It might not be fun for them to be consistently telling you, hey, be careful, be careful, be careful. We got to protect the company. But they're doing a very, very important job. And frankly, they've been underdoing it globally in our profession for decades. And the fact that we need to be responsible in this time, you can build and be responsible, I promise. You can. So they're doing a great job. So I do want to make sure that I mention that. So let's talk about everything changed for me. It can change for you. Today, I work with and coach about, 300 people that make $1 million a year or more. I've worked with millions of people around the world. I speak to, pre-COVID, I'd speak to live about 250,000 people a year, something like that. And so I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot over the course of the last 33 years in this profession. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to share some of the things I've learned specifically about leadership. Okay? I'm not going to teach you fundamentals today. I'm going to talk to you about how to become a better leader, how to lead yourself, how to lead your team, how to build within the organization. First thing I wanted to describe to you is there's 4 things that we do. 4 things that we do. Number 1, we sell valuable products and services using word-of-mouth advertising. That's what we do. That's one of the core things that we do. We sell. The product doesn't sell itself, we sell. If the product sold itself, company wouldn't need you. We sell. But we use word-of-mouth advertising, the most trusted form of advertising around the world. In our world today, is there trust in advertising, trust in social media, trust in mainstream media? Not a lot. But there's trust in when a friend says, hey, you should check this out. That's one of the things that we do. Number two, we recruit. We recruit people. We build an ever-expanding team of people who are also selling. An ever-expanding team. Number three, we duplicate the process. It's not just us building this little team, but we teach other people how to do it, other people how to do it, other people how to do it. That's what starts to be able to create leverage for us. And number four, we improve the productivity of our teams based upon the leadership that we have. If there's two teams of 100 people, one has an extraordinary leader and the other one has a poor leader, the group of 100 people that has the extraordinary leader is going to be more productive. Our job as leadership is to get our teams to do more than they would have done without us. That's it. So the first two of these is the job of network marketing. 3 and 4 is the business. 1 and 2, it's just like any other job. Sell and recruit, sell and recruit, sell and recruit. 3 and 4 creates leverage, duplication, scale, what starts to be able to create residual. In other words, being paid over time for efforts that you did prior. Those are the 4 things that we do. Just understanding those simple 4 things. The other thing I would tell you is that there's different levels of success in our profession. 5 levels. From $0 to $25,000 a year is just follow instructions. Be a good soldier. Just do what we tell you to do, trust the process, follow instructions. And we will show you how to do what is necessary to be able to make a couple $1,000s a month part-time. Level 2, 25,000 to 100,000. You know what that's all about? Hard work. Work your butt off. Grind it out. Make it happen. It's just about the grind. Bust your butt. Level 3, 100 to 500 is all about duplication. How do you create more duplication? Because a lot of people think if I work hard to get to 100, I can work hard to get to 500. Nope. You got to start adding duplication, because if you don't have duplication, it's awful hard to get to those levels. 500 to a million is all about promotion. Learning how to promote events, how to promote products, how to promote systems, how to promote culture, how to promote campaigns, how to promote the compensation plan, how to promote. One of the highest compliments I can give someone in network marketing is they're a great promoter. They're a great promoter. So that's going to get you can get to 1 million with that. Now, to get beyond 1 million, it's all about influencer and leadership development. How do you develop more leaders within your organization? How do you get people who are building whether or not you're building, who are promoting whether or not you're promoting, who are growing whether or not you're growing? So those are the 5 generally, and this is from working with millions of people, that's generally the 5 kind of areas as a person rises up in the profession. Now, some of them, as they start, if they follow instructions and they're good promoters, they're going to move faster. Understand? But these are the 5 kind of areas so you can kind of have as a target. If you want to have a career path, think about these skill sets with these income levels, and the career path is going to make itself apparent to you. It's not just all about rank. It's about skills. So let's talk about leaders for a moment, because leaders is such a big deal, and I want all of you to become a better leader of yourselves and a better leader of your teams. 5 key elements of leadership. And this is just my observation. You might have your own list. I'm going to give you my list. Number 1 is that they're independent. A good leader is independent. A good leader is not needy. They're like, I got it. I'll take care of it. I got it. Number 2, a good leader is an excellent problem solver. And some people think that they're good problem solvers, and they're really not. Because you know what they do to solve problems? They give them to somebody else. Hey, I have a problem. Hey, who could I give it to? Let me give it to the company. Let me give it to my upline. Let me give it to my spouse. Let me give it to, whoever. They get it off of their plate, and then they think they're great problem solvers. They're not. They're problem delegators, but they're not problem solvers. Great leaders are great problem solvers. They solve problems fast. They don't let problems linger. They solve it quick. When you think about the great leaders that you know, what happens when a problem shows up in their orbit? How long does it sit there? Not very long. They solve it quick. Third, they're consistent. And this I probably would have quadrupled my career earnings as a distributor in the field if I was more consistent. If I'm honest with you, my consistency was not great. I was really hot and really cold. I'd go really hot for 90 days and then I'd disappear for 30 days. And then I'd go hot for 30 days, I'd disappear for a week. And if you're inconsistent, the team loses trust in you. Your promotional ability starts to fall. Your ability to cause better action starts to fall. You got to rebuild. I had a bunch of mental programming challenges that caused my inconsistency that I didn't realize till many years later in my life. And I'll just tell you now, I didn't think that I had a problem with success because I was very ambitious. But I had a problem with success. I felt a little bit guilty when I was out earning my friends. I felt a little uncomfortable when I had money in my pocket. So I started buying everybody lunch, and I started procrastinating on things that I didn't need to procrastinate on. And what I found is I was sabotaging my own business because my identity was the scrappy underdog. It was not the superstar of business. So I sabotaged my own business over and over and over with inconsistency. It took me a long time to realize that it was okay to be able to go be successful and help other people. And I didn't need to feel guilty about it. And some of that was misinterpreting some of my spiritual upbringing. It's hard for a wealthy person to get into heaven. I was like, huh. And I didn't even realize that I was finding ways to sabotage through bad partnerships, bad investments. I was always find myself making a bunch of money and not having much. And until I realized that I needed to stop sabotaging my business, I'm going to talk about sabotage a little bit more in a moment. Until I realized that, I wasn't able to be consistent. And I had to also come up with tricks to be more consistent. And I'll give you some of those tricks today. For me, for my rebellious nature. Any of you rebellious? Any of you rebellious to structured authority? I don't care what it is. If it could be a speed limit. And I'm driving a little faster, just a little, because I can't just go the speed limit, right? So I'm a little rebellious that way. Anyway, those are the first 3. Number 4, good leaders have a big vision. They have a big vision and the ability to articulate that vision. Think about the leaders of your company. Think about the top leaders around the world. What is their vision for what they're building? And they have the ability to communicate it. Not just have it in their head. When you get this solid enough, when your vision gets clear enough, your vision is your biggest recruiting tool, not your products. Not the company, not the compensation plan, not the area of the world, not the timing in the marketplace, your vision. When you get to be the right leader, your vision is all you talk about. And people will step into that vision. So, number 5, real leadership creates results. One of my original mentors, Jim Rohn, said, hey, results are the name of the game. You got to measure it. Are you creating more? I'm a good leader. Really? Who's following? I'm a good leader. Really? Is your organization growing? Oh, I'm a good leader. Really? Show me. How many rank advancements happened on the team last month? How many people are attending this live event around the world? That's how you measure. So I want to show you something amazing that I learned through my studies around the world. Is I work with lots of $1 million a year earners and above. And I'm assuming we have some here in the room. How many, with this 5, put the 5 criteria back up again, please. You have that? Yeah. How many people that fit these 5 criteria do you think the average $1 million a year earner has on their team? Total. They have all 5. So I want to ask the people that are here in the studio with us, how many do you have on your team? Now, some of you are going to be tough graders and some of you are going to be friendly, but how many do you think you have on your team that fit all 5 of these criteria? And I think you'd agree, none of these are particularly hard to do, but you got to put them all together, okay? So how many do you have on your team, approximately? 20? 20 or 30? You're the only one. How about you? 10. 2. None? 7 to 10. Anybody else? 10%? 10%? Ain't no 10%. How about you guys? 10? 50?
Yeah, I'd say 50 to 70.
50 to 70? Who else? Anybody? 5? So average around the world is about 25. 25 people in your entire team that fit this criteria in order to be able to earn $1 million a year. Now, that's not a guarantee, but it is an average around the world of all the people that I'm working with. But here's the thing. Can each one of you start to step into these 5 criteria, yes or no? Yes. Every one of you can do this. Can you become independent, less needy? Yes. Can you become a better problem solver? Of course. Can you be more consistent? That's just a decision. Can you develop your big vision and can you learn how to communicate it? Yes. And then can we start measuring the results that come out of this? Do you create results? Good leaders, when they walk into the room, everything changes. Good leaders, when they show up on the Zoom, everything changes. Good leaders, just being in the world somewhere creates change on the other side of the world. They're really good at it. So if you could do it with yourself, right? That's step 1. Then you're going to, and I'm going to teach you as we talk about this today, I'm going to walk you through how to identify people on your team that have the potential of becoming a leader and then mentor them into that leadership. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about one of the biggest breakthroughs that I learned for every single one of you around the world. You want to change your life? I want you to take a piece of paper. Who wants to change their life for the better? Raise your hands, please. Come on, play along with me. Tourists? No tourists. All right, there it is. There it is. I can see you. I can see you. All right, cool. I want you to take a piece of paper in front of you, and I want you to write Jeunesse on that piece of paper. And then I want you to write whatever else you are doing to earn money on that piece of paper.